Good morning, gang. Happy Monday morning. All right, here we are. It's the end of 2024. Wow, we seem to have some similarities to the last time we were in a December right before a change in the White House. Let me ask you this. Have you got your flu shot? Hopefully, you're smart enough to realize it's probably not something you do. Because I don't know about anybody else, but when it comes to trusting somebody, the CDC, the World Health Organization, yada, 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 they ain't exactly on the top of my list as people to trust. It's funny here, 3.5 weeks before we change political parties in the White House, in the Senate, that all of a sudden again, we have another potential pandemic. Oh my God, here we go again. We've got to do something, right? We can't let Donald Trump do anything. We can't let the Republicans do anything. What's going to go on? So yesterday on the morning news shows, the Biden administration started trotting out all their people to try to instill fear in everybody about bird flu, about H5N1, that, oh my God, we've got to get everybody vaccinated for this because this is dangerous. Because a couple of weeks ago, we had one case of bird flu that came up where somebody got hospitalized in Louisiana. Since April of 2024, in 8 months, we've had 61 cases of reported bird flu. So what should we do? Well, let's trot out one of our esteemed health experts on the morning news shows to tell all the sheep what they need to do, right? Take a look at this. This is Dr. Lena Wan yesterday on Face the Nation.
What should be happening in the Biden administration right now that isn't going on?
Yeah, there are two main things that they should be doing in the days that they have left. The first is to get testing out there. I feel like we should have learned our lesson from COVID that just because we aren't testing, it doesn't mean that the virus isn't there. It just means that we aren't looking for it. We should be having rapid tests, home tests available to all farm workers, to their families, for the clinicians taking care of them so that we aren't waiting for public labs and CDC labs to tell us what's bird flu or not. And the second very important thing is this is not like the beginning of COVID where we were dealing with a new virus, we didn't have a vaccine. There actually is a vaccine developed already against H5N1. The Biden administration has contracted with manufacturers to make almost 5 million doses of the vaccine. However, they have not asked the FDA to authorize the vaccine. There's research done on it. They could get this authorized now and also get the vaccine out and to farm workers and to vulnerable people. I think that's the right approach because we don't know what the Trump administration is going to be doing around bird flu. If they have people coming in with anti-vaccine stances, could they hold up vaccine authorization? If they don't want to know how much bird flu is out there, could they withhold testing? I mean, that's a possibility. And I think the Biden administration in the remaining days should get testing and vaccines widely available so that at least it empowers state and local health officials and clinicians to do the right thing for their patients.
Dr. Wen, is bird flu in humans super dangerous?
Well, the World Health Organization estimates that in prior outbreaks of the bird flu, that the mortality rate is 52%. 52%. However, in this most recent outbreak, it seems that most cases have been mild, and maybe some people even have asymptomatic infection. But the question is, we don't know what happens when bird flu affects more vulnerable individuals. People infected so far in the US have been mainly farm workers who are working, presumably generally healthy, as opposed to what happens when you get to children, to pregnant women, to older individuals with chronic illnesses. We don't know how deadly, how dangerous bird flu is going to be for those individuals. And again, that's one more reason why we don't want it to spread and acquire more mutations.
Oh, okay. let me bow down and worship at your feet because you are so brilliant there, doctor. Let me see if I've got this right. I'm supposed to take medical advice from a Chinese-born doctor. Where did COVID originate again? Who spent time as the president of Planned Parenthood. Oh, okay, so you're perfectly fine with murdering babies. Who was the health commissioner for Baltimore, because Baltimore seems to be in such great shape. Who during COVID compared people who didn't get vaccinated to drunk drivers and told everybody that you have to stay in the house. You don't have a legal right to go outside your house if you're not vaccinated. Yeah, this isn't exactly somebody I'd call a trustworthy authority. Okay. One case. 61 case hospitalized, 61 cases. The reason we don't have more cases is we're not testing for it. Remind me again about all those tests that we had 4 years ago, that no matter what people tested for, it was COVID, right? Remember all the deaths that we had? It was amazing how everybody that died, whether they, the things that didn't happen, nobody died from pneumonia. Nobody died from the flu. Everybody died from COVID. Oh, you had a motorcycle accident? Cause of death, COVID. I mean, that's true, guys. Those are really what happened. The deaths from, if you go back, the deaths from pneumonia, the flu, whatever it was, those went to zero, okay? Because you died, you had COVID. That was it. It didn't matter. They tested everybody. We're going into the same thing with this bird flu crap, okay? The one guy who was hospitalized in Louisiana, they have determined the reason he got bird flu was because he had dead birds and diseased birds in his backyard, okay? Now, many people raise chickens, quail, whatever, okay? I'm hoping you're not leaving the dead birds in your backyard. Bird dies, you clean it up and get rid of it. That's just common sense. You don't want disease spreading. You don't want rotting chickens around. That spreads disease, brings in bugs, et cetera, et cetera. No different than you see roadkill on the side of the road, okay? The vultures, the crows, the whatever go after it, the scavengers, and hopefully that your Department of Transportation, your highway department, your animal control or whatever goes out and cleans it up so we don't spread disease. This isn't rocket science, okay? So the guy in Louisiana apparently didn't do a good enough job of cleaning up his yard. Let's panic the country right before we have a new president in. And what did we have last time that we all found out that, again, we weren't informed of? The mRNA, we know that was in the vaccines. Okay. What are the chances of trusting the makers of the vaccines that they wouldn't do it again? I just told you the other day about mRNA being injected into pigs, so it's in the pork, right? They are hell-bent, bound and determined, no holds barred, planning on whatever happens to get this crap in our bodies. We all remember the stories from a couple of years ago about we're going to spray, airdrop, chemtrails, this stuff, so it goes on the farms and the plants and the gardens, et cetera, so you can get it straight through your vegetables. Injecting it into lettuce was tried. This is exactly what they want to do. And then, of course, we look at all the died suddenly cases. I mean, it amazes me how many athletes are dropping dead on the tennis court, the soccer field, whatever. You know, it's like, poof, you're done. Basketball court, football field, pick one. All right. But how does this affect us? I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. They're going to make this all sorts of panic. And depending on what our new president does and our Congress does, guaranteed you're going to hear this. We have to cull all the backyard chickens. We have to cull all the backyard quail or turkeys or ostriches or whatever people raise, because no, they shouldn't be able to own those anymore because they could be spreading bird flu, right? I would be very willing to bet that the chickens that are backyard chickens are raised much more humanely in much cleaner conditions than any of the Purdue, Tyson, pick one, chicken plants, okay? You know, where they're raising these chickens. I would pretty much bet that that is true. Because I know people who've owned chickens, many of them, and the chickens have their little pen and they run around their pen and do whatever, and they go back into their nesting box and they lay whatever eggs they can. Granted, it's winter, you're not getting much. But the chances of disease being spread by most backyard bird raisers, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, people that have themselves an aviary, are probably much more healthy and less risk than the bigger ones that, the FDA and the USDA are supposed to monitor for cleanliness and any sort of condition, okay? But no, they'll go after you and me and the chickens we have, because God forbid we be self-sufficient. Anybody go buy eggs lately? Granted, it's different all over the place, and whether you're buying cage-free, free-roaming eggs, Eggland Bests, or whether you're buying the grocery store brand eggs, okay? It comes out of a chicken's butt. It's a freaking egg, okay? I was at the store a week ago today. I bought 5 dozen eggs. Mrs. P and I had baking to do. We eat a lot of eggs on the diet, yada, yada, yada. Okay. This time of year, you're not getting eggs from your egg layers, or not many at least. And so, okay, at this point, we can't get eggs from our friends, so we buy them in the store. 5 dozen eggs, $24. It's about 40 cents an egg, okay? Imagine what that's going to turn into. Also told you guys at the store, chicken thighs, right? Okay, going to buy chicken thighs. $3.29 a pound, right? I mean, it wasn't 3, 4, 5 years ago. Chicken thighs were 69 cents a pound. Around here, maybe you find them better in your place. If you find a great sale, you'd find $1.29 a pound. Still double what it was just a few years ago. I mean, a few years ago, I was able to find chicken thighs on sale for 39 cents a pound. I mean, this is during Trump's presidency. I'm not talking about 2 decades ago. But this is what's going on. This isn't about bird flu. This isn't about protecting people. This isn't about saving lives. You know, God knows, go ask New York about how well they were saving lives during COVID. Okay. But this is about control. And everybody needs to understand that. I'm going to say this again. You all know this. He who controls the food controls the people. This is what they're trying to do. Think about what you've got. Oh my God, bird flu. We've got to get rid of all the poultry out there. Cow farts. Oh my God, we've got, how many countries have we seen trying to get rid of cows altogether? Can't have any beef. Okay. Same thing with pigs. Oh my God, we've got swine flu. Can't do anything. I mean, what's next? Are we going to have, fish flu? And let's get rid of every protein possible. They're trying to do this. Understand, okay? If you have the ability to stock up on some of this stuff, however you can do it. If you've got the access to farm fresh eggs, okay, not the ones from the grocery store, learn how to water glass your eggs. If you don't, and all you have is the grocery store, you can freeze eggs, okay? Put them in a bowl, scramble them up, put them in a freezer bag, they lay nice and flat, poof, you've got frozen eggs, at least scrambled eggs, right? You're not getting sunny side up in there. In a worst case scenario, go buy yourself some Augustin Farms or whomever you want to use, powdered eggs. That works too, because it's a protein. You need it for baking or anything like that you want to do. And trust me, you're going to want comfort foods. You're going to need to bake some stuff, okay? We need this protein source. It's a very good protein source for people, and they're trying to get rid of it. Chicken is usually the least expensive meat, and they're trying to get rid of it. Why? Because this is how they get us under control. This whole crap that this doctor is putting up is complete bullshit. And it's exactly what we went through 4 years ago. And it's got the exact same purpose. Oh, we all have to stay in a house. We all have to do. I mean, there is, at this point, 0 cases of people or person-to-person transmittance of bird flu. But God forbid you go to grandma's house. Don't do that. We've got to worry about, the children, the elderly, just like she talked about. Keep away from your kids, keep away from your grandparents or your parents or, whichever, where you fall on the age spectrum, okay? Because you might get them sick. 0. That's how many occurrences of person-to-person transference we have, right? Are we going to have masking? Are we going to have arrows on the floor in the grocery store again? Let's put up all the plexiglass. Let's panic everybody just so they can go get one of these again. Because you know what? Pfizer and Moderna and whatever, their profits are dropping a little bit. We need to boost them up again. This is what's going on. This is complete bullshit. She can talk about the anti-vaxxers all they want. I'm sorry. You know what? You destroyed your credibility. We've seen the actual figures about the increase in rates of autism or God knows how many other things since the 80s, when all of a sudden, a newborn has to be treated like a pincushion before they can ever be put in mom's arms. This is the problem we have. I'm sorry, CDC. I'm sorry, WHO. I'm sorry, medical professionals, witch doctors. You don't have any credibility with the people anymore. I mean, what's next? Dirt flu is coming, guys. Don't go anywhere near the soil because you're going to get sick. That's how crazy this crap is. You do what you want, but I'll tell you this. I'm a pure blood from last time. I'll be a pure blood from this time. Enjoy your day. Pinball out.